Schmoes Know presents HorrorFlix, a podcast covering all things horror, suspense, and psychological thrillers in the world of cinema. And now, here are your hosts, Cobbster and Cody.
Hello, horror fans. Welcome back to another episode of HorrorFlix, a show where we talk about horror films because we like this genre and nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. I am Cobbster, one of the co-hosts, and I'm joined here with my good friend, my pal, my buddy, Cody. How you doing?
How you doing, buddy? I have to get really close to the mic because we're sharing one today.
Oh, why is
so
that?
It practically looks like we're kissing. I know we bring this up every time we do this on the show, but, you know, it's a little weird.
That's okay. We've kissed many times. But today we are joined by a third wheel, and this third wheel, he's a
just
great
totally
man.
Cock-blocking
He's just
us.
totally cock-blocking us, but it's okay, baby. I got you later. I got you, baby. Give me the sugar, baby.
Okay,
and so it's getting a little too weird, Billy.
The joke's going a little too far right now. Okay.
So just touch me there.
Okay.
Our guest, he's a good man. You know him.
He's an okay man. He's not
okay.
a good man.
We won't hype him up that much.
Okay.
He has a great show called JTE Movie Things.
He has an
that
okay
he does
show.
here
It's
on
not great.
On the Schmoes Know podcast channel. He used to be our engineer until he got cool, and he's also with Screen Junkies. He's with them. This guy does a lot of really cool stuff. I love him. Cody doesn't really like him too much, but he's here. His name is Josh Tapia. Former cousin of Carlos Tapia, the drug cartel from Sicario. That's not the real name.
Okay.
But nonetheless, he is also known as JTE, Josh the Engineer. What's
How's
up,
it going,
pal?
buddy?
Hey guys, what's going on?
You like that intro? It was a little hyped you up a little bit, or
Yeah,
no?
it was really good. Thank you.
Oh, that's
I
all
was
you got.
much more polite to you, right, than he was, totally.
Totally polite. I gave him a good intro. I plugged his
took
shows.
total
All this
shit on him.
Is
It was
Cody
great.
Cody gonna engineer this?
Yeah, I got
Oh no!
You know
because
there's no music in the
you wouldn't-
background?
Yeah, you wouldn't hear the music in the very beginning.
Hey, can I just say, because this is my first time really addressing Schmoville since my
For
first
those of you,
engineering.
if
Yeah.
you don't, for some stupid reason, no, I'm just kidding. I won't say that. But if you don't listen to
You
Schmoes,
just did.
Yeah, whatever. Right? If you guys don't listen to Schmoes, Cody is now the engineer for Schmoes Know, the movie show, and JTE is not.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who didn't send me a death threat or just was mean in general. Everyone who was just awesome, saying like, hey, you did good for your first show. Thank you so much, guys. That really, it warmed my heart. You know, I can't appreciate, more than I possibly can. Thank you.
I don't think he did that good. How do you think he did?
No, he really.
No,
did.
I didn't do great.
No, he did. No, you did
Look
good.
at this, look
The
at this.
show,
I had-
what JT said it
I
best.
remember, like, I was in this Screen Junkie studio and I grabbed my cell phone.
You were shitting yourself?
And I was like, I just want to see how it opens.
Right.
I just want to see if it was.
No, you watched the
no,
opening?
I just want to see if it was gonna open on time more than anything.
I was only 2 minutes
It was,
late.
yeah, it was 6:02. It came on.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, I couldn't sit there and watch all things. I was busy, but I was like, he started the show.
Well,
That's all I needed to know. He started it.
You know, you did fine. You did fine. And
For
you did
having
really
next
good.
to no training whatsoever with
Exactly.
that new setup
I
in the
gave
new
you-
studio,
yes.
Yeah.
I survived and I got the show off on time.
Yeah,
It was
you
good.
did.
Yeah.
You did really good, especially for your first time.
I'll get better, guys.
And look,
Thank you so much.
And look, as much as we can totally make an entire franchise of that story of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some real horror films because we've seen some movies.
Yeah.
We're big fans of these, or just in general, just having the experience of seeing these two. So what we're gonna do with this episode of Lazy Germs is that we're gonna have a brief little review of the Green Inferno because we just saw that today, and The Visit, which has been out for a while now. We're gonna have a full-on spoiler. We were gonna do that last week. We got tied up. Cody had to deal with some stuff with his kid, but that's
You-
okay.
you were
He dealt with it.
possessed.
I was possessed too.
How was that exorcism experience?
That
for you?
was
I
fun.
heard it's a real thrill.
Green throw up is not as cool as it
Okay,
looks on
yeah.
screen.
Doesn't-
So we're gonna talk about the Green Inferno just a little bit, just no spoilers or anything on it. But then once we get into The Visit, it's gonna be full on spoilers. You guys have had some time to see it, so let's dive right into the Green Inferno, guys. First of all, JT, let me ask you, pal. What are your thoughts on Eli Roth overall?
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about this earlier. Hostel was a big deal when it came out because it was kind of the beginning of the whole torture porn genre. Like some people could say Saw started it, which it definitely kind of did. I feel like Saw is almost like a fun. It's hard to say fun.
I'd say the first Saw started off very serious. Like the first three were pretty
when
serious.
I saw Saw, there was a lot of laughter in my theater.
It's a fun romp for the whole
'Cause
family.
It's like Saw was in a lot of ways. The acting wasn't great in it, even though there were some decent performances.
I thought Danny Glover
And
was
there
pretty
were,
great.
Danny Glover was fine, and there were scenes of like laughter in the movie that you weren't really supposed to be laughing at, but because of the situation and how extreme it was, you just kind of sometimes you don't know how to react, so you just laugh.
Yeah.
Hostel, I never laughed.
Oh,
Hostel,
really?
well, maybe in the very beginning because there's some interaction between the main characters, but once they get into that hostel and these guys start torturing them, it's just straight up disgusting and violent.
Would you say that Hostel is a better film than Saw? Because I think
Don't
Saw,
you dare!
I-
Don't you
I
dare!
think Saw is a
Okay.
much better
No, I
film.
think
Saw is great.
Saw just because of creativity.
Yeah, okay,
Hostel
yeah.
wasn't that creative.
But at the same time, Hostel isn't trying to be like a good film.
That's true.
I think. And not to say that it's a good
It's
film.
not trying to be Saw, but it knows what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. That's what
Well, Saw had the plot twist and everything, and I think the script is the biggest strength of Saw. Is the script. I don't think Hostel had a very good script, but it had style. It had a little bit more style than Saw.
Right.
Yeah, I
it
can
was
see that.
better made production value wise, even cinematography.
Yeah,
totally.
was better. So I like Eli Roth because I remember I also seen Cabin Fever, and
I love Cabin Fever.
I enjoyed Cabin Fever.
Yeah, I enjoy that one a lot.
And so going into Green Inferno, I was kind of comparing it to a film that he produced last year that he also starred in called Aftershock.
I never saw
Did you guys see it?
Was that good? Did you like that?
I
Is that the one with
enjoyed
Selena
it.
Gomez?
No, yes, Selena Gomez has
The-
a small role in it.
okay.
Yes. That movie is basically about a group of people that take a trip to South America. I think it's Brazil.
He's really on that South
Yeah.
American kick right now.
Yeah, and basically an earthquake happens while they're at a nightclub, and like it's very gruesome. Like,
Really?
people are getting killed by pillars, and so as they're like going through the poor neighborhood, one of the prisons nearby, all the inmates escape.
Oh, that's an
So
interesting
they're
concept.
literally trying to get out of. It's one thing to be an earthquake in a big city, but when you're in a third world country,
Yeah, it's totally different.
it's totally different. And then basically all these inmates are like grabbing girls, raping, killing dudes, and you're with these four friends trying to get out alive. And the acting wasn't great, just like Green Inferno. I didn't think the acting was very good, but I like the premise. That's what kind of pulls you in. To me, this wasn't as good as Aftershock.
Oh wow, really?
Wow.
So Aftershock is a great movie.
Yeah.
But I got what I expected, and because of that, that premise alone, a bunch of inmates getting out because of an earthquake, that just sounds very interesting to me. So it kind of stuck with me. Green Inferno, it was more than the Saw thing. Like, this movie is really gruesome.
Yes, it
But
is very
to
gruesome.
a comical level. There was laughs.
Oh, I
It
was
was
laughing
so much
for a
fun.
good chunk of this movie. I had a great time with
That's
this.
why I feel like it's a little different than Hostel, because Hostel, I was uncomfortable.
You were like kind of like grimacing that whole time, not
Grimacing,
really
I
wanting to
wasn't-
watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't really feeling that with this movie. It was hard to watch, I guess, because it was
Yeah.
so gory, but it was never like, I don't know.
It felt more like a comedy at times than it actually did a horror. Because I wouldn't even consider it a torture porn.
Here's the thing. We're not doing spoilers, right?
No, we won't do
Not
spoilers.
But here's the thing.
necessarily.
There's just so many things in the movie that make no sense logical wise. Especially like their cage, for one. Is, without getting spoilers, it's not the hardest cage to get out of.
It reminded me of the cage. You ever seen Hot Shots Part 2?
Yes.
When the guy's trying to sneak out, and he just climbs out to grab the key. Like,
Yeah,
that's what it
well,
reminded me of.
there's
Yeah.
a great one in Hot Shots Part 2 where like they get to a gate and it's like up to his waist.
Yeah, and he's like,
and
"It's locked."
on the outside. He's like, it's locked from the outside. Wrong
Right.
gonna die. Wrong gonna die.
Well, see, I think that's one of your things, though. Don't really think like, oh, I'm gonna get invested with these characters or any sort of logic. It almost, especially from like the trailers, how they're advertised in the movie. Like, I love one of the trailers that they show. They don't show anything from the movie. They just show reactions from people.
Yep.
And so it's like you're going there for
That's
the
awesome.
experience. You're just going there just to see how to experience this. I knew full well, especially because I'm not a huge fan of Eli Roth, granted, too.
Yeah.
I knew that we weren't going to get, like, extremely well storytelling or even good acting for that matter. I just wanted to go. This is literally a movie I wanted to go just to see the deaths and see how actually disturbing it is. I will say it's not as disturbing as it's hyping it out to be.
Not at all.
I've seen worse. I've definitely seen worse.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
But
I
it's
feel like.
it's up there.
Yeah.
There's some stuff. The first scene, you know which
Yes.
one I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Is by far the first one. The
Most
like
brutal.
absolute most brutal thing. But then everything after that just kind of seemed okay. This is crazy.
Nothing you haven't seen before.
Nothing I
in
haven't seen
torture
before.
porn.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you say you don't expect good acting, I didn't. But this to me is bad.
There were
bad,
some-
bad acting.
There were some
Like,
performances I was like, oh
Eli
my
Roth
God.
has some pull. Like, say what you about all his other movies, the acting's, especially Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever, I would say.
And
was
I'll
the
even
best
say
one.
Hostel. Yeah, some of the performances are kind of cheesy, but I never felt like I was taking on the movie because the acting was so bad.
Right.
And I'm curious why he just didn't go. What, like, was it just because?
I think it honestly was like he just wanted to have so much fun with this tribe and with all the characters in there. It almost felt to me like you wanted to hate these characters on purpose, almost like any other slasher film where it's just you don't care about anybody, you just want to see the deaths.
That's very true for one character. I'll give you that.
I was about to
Yeah,
say,
okay,
yeah,
that-
not
maybe
for all of
too.
them though. A lot of them I kind of felt sorry. Like there was actually a decent amount of character development where like
Let's
you
not
felt
get
kind
carried
I
away.
would
Okay,
like-
not character development. I'm just saying like they weren't terrible characters.
Each
where,
guy,
like,
each guy is a character.
Yeah.
and a very simple character. And I think one of the reasons why that trailer only shows reactions is because A, you can't really show the good stuff, and B,
Sure.
if I saw some of the acting these people were doing, I might not have gone to.
No, yeah, you're not going to open up these trailers trying to show off the characters'
If you
performances.
took any line of dialogue from this movie and put it in a trailer,
Right.
it would
No,
be
but
that
I think-
evident it's a bad
I
actor.
think Eli Roth grabbed something pretty nice here in the fact that, well, for one, as much as I'm not a fan of him, I do respect the hell out of him because he is a huge fan of this genre, and
yeah.
he does take it very serious. And the other thing I'll give him credit too is like he really did a good job of like making fun of the whole activist movement and how it's not always probably as what it seems to be. You know, there's actually some falsehood to what these people are actually doing, like the whole hunger strike thing. Like in the movie, they're a hunger strike group, and even one of the main characters says, "It's like, oh yeah, some of them actually do that, but you look at me, I'm not
Let
gonna,
me tell you something. This isn't a spoiler because it really has nothing to do with the story. She has a roommate who is by far
Whoa.
the most god awful
Terrible.
audience.
Yeah.
The most
God-awful audience, huh?
god awful
Okay.
character.
Yeah.
She was
And-
terrible. I wish she went.
No,
I wish she
I
went.
disagree.
Because she would have died at the
There's
first
a
in the
point
plane.
in this movie where it looks like she might join her, and I said when she decided not to, I said thank God.
Just so you wouldn't have to see her
I
on
don't
screen?
think I could take another line read from this girl
Right.
for the
She
rest of the movie.
almost had no way other than the fact that they needed some kind of character to try to doubt her into going.
I guess, yeah.
You know?
I mean,
'Cause there obviously needed to be some kind of opening, some kind of struggle for her to go with, and maybe eventually regret it all happening.
here's the thing: she meets a guy who's like kind of overweight. There's the main guy. There's the girlfriend. Here's the thing: those actors were so bad. I am 110% convinced if you two played two of the roles, you could have done a better
Hey,
acting
hey,
job.
I'm pretty sure we would have.
You're talking to the lead
regardless.
actor from
And
Severance here, okay?
I'm just saying-
Academy Award winning.
I'm saying when you are watching a movie and you're like, my God, my friends could act better
Yeah,
than
that's
these
true.
actors who are supposed to be professional actors in a feature film,
Yeah.
there's something wrong.
I'm pretty sure you could have been in
I
this movie.
probably
You
could have done a
could
better
been.
job than
Yeah.
half those
You would
people.
have been. It would have been fun watching you get eaten by cannibals. I'd say
Yeah, it
you'd
would've been
really
pretty
own that scene very well. You'd be like, ah, my God.
And this, I came to this conclusion halfway through the movie, and I was going to tweet this out, and I didn't. When a movie like this happens, and I didn't hate the movie, but when I'm just like, the acting's horrible, at just some point I was like, I would love right now if a helicopter just dropped RoboCop in the middle of this movie.
Right. Yeah.
I think any movie, if you just drop RoboCop in it halfway through, it makes it a better
I'm
movie.
pretty sure that's what's going to happen in Creed after seeing those two trailers.
Yeah, he has
I'm
the
pretty
box.
sure. But I
be
will
great.
say though, it does pay a pretty great homage to Cannibal Holocaust because Cannibal
Of course,
Holocaust.
it's such a huge
It's
influence.
of course like if there's even
It's
set
all-
photos of Eli Roth wearing a Cannibal Holocaust shirt.
It's borderline remake almost.
Yeah, especially there's that one scene where they go back to the plane crash and they see the you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Like pretty straightforward of
Yeah.
what he wanted to do here. Even the Green Inferno, I'm pretty sure was the name of. It was the name of something from Cannibal Holocaust.
really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm pretty
remember that.
sure. But that's what got me really excited to see this movie too, because visually I thought it was really great too. I like the imagery of it all, especially with the cannibals and the whole tribe
Oh, yeah.
itself. I love the way that all looked.
I agree with you there. Visually, I thought it was well shot.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there were times when I felt like he was using camera tricks to create tension where there was
Yeah,
no tension.
no, yeah, absolutely.
And it went a little too long. But listen, you go into the Amazon jungle and film something, it's going to look good if you have decent
that's
cameras.
true.
Fucking
So
great.
I think the fact with the locations really added to the production of the
I
movie.
want to know if because you look at this movie, you see the colors red and green. That's like pretty much all that
Yep.
sticks out. I wonder if
A
he
little
took
bit of
that
yellow.
a little bit of yellow too. I wonder if he actually like grabbed that idea from Wes Craven because Wes Craven decided to make Freddy Krueger's sweatshirt
Yep,
red and green
red and
because
green.
it's disturbing to look at it via the eyes. So I'm wondering if I had that in the back of my mind the whole time, and I just thought that's an interesting little thing. Whether he did it or not,
Yeah.
I thought it worked well because it looks jarring to the eyes.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the last podcast too.
Did I really?
Well, yeah.
Oh, cool.
You've been,
Red and green.
you've been hammering
if I
that
could,
point lately,
if
but
I
I agree.
can, if I can mention Wes Craven here and there
Yeah.
anytime, I will.
Totally. That's the thing I said to you guys after this movie because I didn't give it the best score.
Yeah, you
because
really did not like this, huh?
I enjoy. Here's the thing: I enjoyed my time in the
You gave
theater
it- you
for
gave
what
it
it was.
a bad score, though.
Because it's not a good movie. But
Okay,
I,
I
can still
understand,
enjoy
but
it.
okay, but you made it seem like you didn't enjoy it at all with your
No,
score.
no, I
so
did.
was like,
It was so batshit crazy at times. I was
Okay.
like, okay, when is the last time you've seen a movie like this?
That is true.
You're not going to see many movies
It's
like
it's
this.
you're going there. It's essentially what a blockbuster is for horror films. I would say.
Yeah.
You know, you go like most movies. You go like
It's
turn your
G.I.
head-
Joe was to summer movies.
I think you said
this is the horror. movies.
Cody was saying that this is a popcorn film. Like I don't think you're gonna want to
Yeah.
eat popcorn during this movie. I don't think you want to eat anything during.
After this, I was like, I turned to JTE. I was like, "You want to get some steaks?"
And I did say to you, like, imagine this same script with better actors and a
Yeah.
really good
No,
director, this could have been something special.
But then essentially you can say that with almost most movies that are just bad too.
That's
no, true, but
Yeah.
this one I think in particular because the acting was so bad.
It had a great premise too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like a twist, but a nice little bender to it.
We'll have to get into spoilers next. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
what
We
we're
won't
talking
spoil
about.
anything like that. We won't spoil anything. But overall, I mean, yes, I'll agree. It's not a good movie, but it is a lot of fun. If that's weird enough, that's the only way that I can describe it.
It's only fun if you like to see people
Right.
and gore.
Would I ever-
Because that's not everyone's
Would
taste.
I refer it to people? Probably not, unless they're into
Oh
this
no, I wouldn't
genre.
refer.
How many people walked out of our theater?
A
Oh,
good
there was
amount.
There was a,
How about Family of the Year, by the
Yes.
way?
Bringing their kids.
Yeah.
These kids are like 4 and 5, and they bring them in. We're like,
Yeah.
what the
About-
fuck are they
And
thinking?
then, of course, after the first scene, they're like, okay,
we're
this
outta
is
here.
the wrong one. This isn't, as you said, this
I
ain't
just
the
started
Big
busting
Green
up laughing.
remake.
I'm
This is the
sorry.
Green Inferno.
Just what those kids saw, they're scarred for life.
Yeah, absolutely. His parents are terrible.
they're out.
But it was pretty great seeing people walk out of the theater.
that was
I've never
great.
experienced that before.
There was one, like the two people in front of us left like right away, like
Yeah.
right
Oh,
when
yeah.
shit went
Pretty
down.
quick.
in
They
the
were
movie,
like,
and I was like,
oh shit.
what
this
were
is
you
not-
expecting?
This
Like-
is this is not Hotel Transylvania 2. This is not the one we're going for. So yeah, that's pretty much how we thought about Green Inferno. Let us know what you guys thought. Either tweet out to all three of us, and tell us what you thought about the Green Inferno. If you liked it, you didn't like it. If you're a fan of Eli Roth, get him on the show. We'd love that. And we'd
Yeah,
like
that'd be
him
awesome.
more. And so let's get into this other movie that came out a few weeks ago. This one is full on spoilers. So if you have not seen The Visit, M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, beware. There are going to be spoilers for this because there are some spoilers to be said. And first of all, I'll be the first one to say that I love this movie.
Love.
I like it a lot.
Hey,
I
hey,
don't love it, but I
Hey,
like
Cody.
it a lot.
We are-
Cody, get JT.
Loved it.
Hey,
I love this movie.
oh, hey,
So we got love it. Liked it a
liked
lot.
it a lot.
And liked,
Hated it.
and liked it.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, you liked it?
No,
okay.
I liked it.
I obviously I'm probably loving it more because just for the fact that he's somewhat returned.
Yeah, it's more of a sense of relief. Where I'm
Yeah,
like, yes, he's
I
made a good movie
I think
again.
that's what it is, and I won't even say he's fully returned it until I see something else. But this is a good step in direction of him coming back and making actually good films for once, because I do believe that there is a lot of great weight to this movie, a lot more than I was actually expecting it,
Yeah.
a lot of emotion that I was expecting, that I wasn't expecting rather.
Here's
What
the
are you
problem.
signed
Here's
for?
the problem when
Okay.
you say he's back.
I
I
didn't
did
say
not
that.
say
I did
that.
not
No,
say
that
that.
I said
but-
he's
Neither
in
of
the
us
right
said that
direction
just
He's in the
now.
right
coming
direction.
back.
But here's the problem.
Fuck.
He's only been in the right direction for about a movie or two.
No, I'd
Two.
say
I'd
no,
say two.
3.
Two. I don't like
Signs?
Signs.
I would even go as far as saying
Oh,
the
dude.
Village a little bit, because I wouldn't even blame the Village on
Mm-hmm.
the Village. I'd blame the Village off of the marketing, not the movie itself,
Here's the
because it was
thing.
marketed as a monster movie.
Every film, Sixth Sense is his best film.
Yeah.
We agree with that.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah,
with that.
some people
Every
say Unbreakable,
film
but I like
from
Sixth
that
Sense.
point on, it has gotten worse and worse and worse.
No.
Not saying Unbreakable is bad, because I love Unbreakable. I don't really like Signs, but
Hold on. Why don't you like Signs?
because water, man.
God damn it! I hate when people make that fucking argument, dude. No, shut up.
The wife stuck between a car.
Oh yeah, I hated that part. Swing away.
I love the scene in Scary Movie 3 when they
Yes.
spoof that. They're like, look at the taco.
Keep doing-
I hate that argument. Why? What's wrong with water? Why not? We don't know if there was
He's
an alien
arguing
race.
that a super advanced alien race would not invade a planet that's 70% water
Thank
if they
you,
were
Cody.
weak to
How
water.
would they know that it's full of water?
By looking at it. But
Just saying. How would they know? But how would they know? How would they
and
know?
I love signs, by the way.
How
I
would
do.
they know that they're affected by
This
water
is not
that
like
way?
War of the Worlds, where they came into our atmosphere, took over, and then slowly decided that they died. Water hit him. It was
Decided
like acid.
Yeah, and they left for that reason. And that's even scarier because you think about the movie. We're getting off on a tangent here, but you think about the movie. They're still out there. That's even creepier than the
they're
movie
like,
itself.
We need to order some raincoats.
They're ready to fuck up Mars.
We
They're
need to
gonna be
order
like,
some
Saying.
raincoats.
All right, enough with the
some
water. Enough with the
scuba gear,
water.
and go back to
why
Earth.
didn't you like The Visit? Because the little kid was a germaphobe or what?
There's really nothing I didn't not really like about The Visit. I thought it was pretty
Good
much
all
good
around,
all
right?
around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
agree, yeah.
There's nothing I could really say. Like the only things that
And I'm not saying it's perfect either,
No,
by the way.
exactly.
But I love the
I
movie.
think for exactly what it was trying to do, it accomplished
Yes.
basically everything on every level.
Are you guys okay with this movie being a found footage film? Were you okay
Well,
with
that's-
that? With that aspect
Here-
of it? There's some people who are criticizing it, saying it didn't need to be found footage.
I loved that he made the girl a cinephile. Was
Yes.
trying to make a documentary, and of course, I don't care what found footage means. There's always gonna be moments where you're like, "Come on, would they really be recording?"
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to accept accept that when you go see these movies.
Yeah, and
you
I
have
think,
to give that leeway.
And I think especially with this, giving her that bit of premise behind it,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, of course she's going to keep going. I think there was a great motivation behind that. And I think most found footage need a little bit of that motivation, as opposed to like, we need to get this because, you know, this is the world has to see that, because that's been done a lot of times. This one, it hasn't. It's very simple. It's obviously found footage is done before, but they've given it that little bit of like oomph to actually carry out throughout the entire film.
They made it a more personal reason.
Yeah,
it's
they
not
did.
somebody.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's not just a disaster that they're trying to catch like Cloverfield. Cloverfield, fine movie, but I'm like, put the effing camera down.
Yeah,
There's
but I like
aliens
Cloverfield.
chasing you, man.
I'd carry that. I'd
Okay,
carry the camera
well,
with me. Why not?
It's okay, but
Plus,
this,
Cloverfield was early on before.
yeah,
they took
but
it.
this movie really, I felt like, okay,
Yeah.
I understand what you're doing.
And not only
why you're
that,
doing it.
it's also a found footage movie that they're not on the run. It's slow.
Yeah.
It's a slow paced thing.
True.
So like with Cloverfield, how they're running throughout the city. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
put the camera down. But here, everything's a lot more steady and calm, and it's basically night stuff that happens. You know, everything else is during the day. It's like them sort of investigating while all this creepy shit's going
and
on.
I love that there was like 2 cameras and you actually were getting different angles
You're
of
getting
coverage.
depth. Yeah.
And it
did-
actually worked.
It did for me what Chronicle did with found footage. You know how
Because
when they
the
changed
powers,
that more
his
cell
powers,
phones and all
you
that.
know, it was essentially that.
Really
you know, and
smart
then
way.
And you give the. Let's talk about the characters first of all, because I love most of the characters. I didn't know how I felt about the kid going in at first,
The
but
boy?
after a while he grew on me, and he was just so goddamn funny.
No, I thought the kid was hilarious. I thought that even the daughter was good. I love, was it Catherine O'Hara? No, not
Catherine
O'Hara.
Hahn.
Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara's from Home Alone. She did. She was great, and I thought the kids were both great. The kid was funny. They had good chemistry.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
Those kids could act circles around any of the cast of Green Inferno.
Yeah, that's probably true.
for
Yeah, that is very
for
true.
fact.
Yeah.
And I think because their performances were so good, that really helped carry the movie. Because if either of those performances was bad, I think it would have hurt the movie a lot.
I agree with you there. Let's talk about, since this is HorrorFlix, did you find this movie scary, or were you just impressed by the story? That's what I want to say. Because there were a couple really great
doing
scares.
spoilers,
We're
right?
doing
Yeah, we're
spoilers,
doing
so go
full-on
right into it.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, don't talk about the twist just yet. We'll talk about it in a bit.
Okay.
I'll lead
that's
off with the
kinda where
scare
I
if you're
was
ready.
going.
Okay. There's one scare. It's a complete jump scare, but
Okay.
it's a damn good one.
yeah.
When they had the camera set up on the thing and the grandma's like crawling around, and all of a sudden out of nowhere she goes and like jumps in front of it
Yeah, that was
and
a
then
pretty
grabs
good
it. I knew that was coming and it still got me.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a great fucking jump scare.
Anytime she was crawling, it's just
Were you
when-
just laughing?
It wasn't the fact she was crawling. Her hair would always be over her face.
Oh right.
So it just felt like, especially when
Stunt
she was
double.
under the crawl space, that was creepy. But
Oh, okay.
at the
I was
same
gonna
time-
say I didn't. I thought you were gonna say that wasn't scary.
No, it was
because that to
creepy.
me was the fucking creepiest
Really?
thing I've seen in the entire film. Because not only was it just creepy having her crawling around and the fact that it was silent, but the fact that she was just playing. Like she was nothing was possessing her to do it. She was just literally playing with the kids back and forth, and they had no idea she was in there. That creeped the shit out of me. And then afterwards when she pops out, she's like, "That was fun."
Yeah.
We're like, "No, it wasn't. Who would want to
Yeah.
do that again?"
But at the same time, it's like at that time, it's like your grandmother. I found it creepy, but I don't know if it worked 100% for me. For me, the stuff that like scared me the most was like just the simple thing of them being in their beds and her trying to open the door.
Oh yeah,
It's
Yeah,
locked.
yeah.
And not being able to
Something,
see it.
yeah, and
That was a really good
to me
moment.
scared me more than the jump scare or her like going through the crawl space, because you're just like, this lady's batshit
Like
crazy.
before you actually see what she's doing on the other side, like hearing her scratching on the walls, or when she was running back and forth, hearing that through the door
Yes,
was very creepy
exactly.
too. 'Cause you're like, fuck.
Like they say, what you can't see scares you more than
Yeah,
what you actually
and I'm all
see.
for that too. If they wouldn't have shown
Yeah.
that, it probably would have been a little bit more effective.
And the thing is, with Shyamalan, you always expect a twist ending.
Yes.
And the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was because you don't know
Should we
exactly.
go into like our guesses as to what we thought it was while watching the
I
movie?
had something completely
Yeah.
Because
different.
I
than
was
what
way
happened.
off what I thought it was.
Okay, yeah, go.
What'd you have first?
I'll be honest with you. When I was watching the movie, I wasn't trying to figure out what it was. I was just thinking. For some reason, in my head, I thought it was gonna go supernatural.
Oh, I'm so glad it didn't.
Okay,
I'm-
we'll get
Yeah.
into that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was yours? What was
Mine
yours?
was, I was thinking it's like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers type thing.
Okay.
You know,
Alright,
like-
so almost like
yeah.
almost,
Yeah, it's,
I thought for some reason, and I wasn't like looking for the twist, but like something popped in my head, and I leaned over the person who I saw it with. I was like, I really hope it's not this, and thank God it wasn't. I thought like the whole thing was that she was cooking the victims and making them eat them, because they emphasize so much on food that I thought like these two were just crazy and they were just cooking people up, especially like in the trailers when they were telling her to get in the oven. I thought that's what they did with their victims, and then they cooked them into the food.
Yeah, that never
like,
crossed my mind.
Completely out of nowhere.
You saw a trailer for Green Inferno right before this.
Yeah, I know, right. But the twist when it happens, it's almost so obvious that of course they're not the freaking real grandparents.
It's almost like I was giving Shyamalan too much
right. Like we were trying
credit.
way too much. And it's so simple, but it was so effective, especially the way they pull it off. Just they're on Skype with her mom. They fix the camera so she can never see the grandparents, which was really great.
That was a great scene.
Harloff brought up a great, thing about this, because let's just say what happens with the grandparents. It turns out they're not really the grandparents.
Yeah, they're not really. They're just crazy people.
They're crazy people from a insane asylum that the grandparents were working at.
Yes.
The one thing Harloff said in his review, and I agree with, is like, how have these kids never seen a photo or anything?
Well, I mean,
threw me off a little bit.
They had a falling out with the mom.
I know,
but I understand, like, that's still a bit of a stretch, and I didn't see a photo. But I mean, they tried to explain it at least by saying that the mom had a falling out.
And I think that's an acceptable thing to go. I mean, we don't necessarily.
It's acceptable if you don't think about it too much.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it worked out really well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it worked.
But it is something in the back of the mind.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The fact that, like, it was, I love that moment. I just loved like everything just went crashing down on me once that happened. I was like, oh my god, this trip's over. They're dead.
Well, let me ask you guys. Like, once you kind of find out they're insane people, I wasn't 100% like scared until they found the original grandparents in the basement.
Oh, in the basement, and they're
dead.
like, fuck.
Because now I'm like, these people ain't just crazy.
No,
they are
they're
fucking
murderous,
crazy. So that's really added the stakes to me, and that's where the movie really ramped up.
After that, when the girl is trapped upstairs in the bedroom with the grandma, and she's kind of like, I thought that scene was really terrifying, actually.
I don't know, that scene...
Some people don't like it, because like when they turn around and then turn back and she's close or whatever. I know people don't like it, but I was still startled.
I like that in the fact that they weren't relying so much on jump scares on that one, because it was very subtle. Like when they turned back and she's still standing right behind her, like, that's creepy. That's like, you don't really know what she's really doing behind you, other than just like standing there.
That was the one moment in the movie that to the most was me, and again, I say you have to accept this going through the movie. Yeah. That was the one moment in the movie where I was like, put down the damn camera.
Oh, yeah, that did.
This is like, I bought it for this entire movie.
Right.
Except for this scene.
I mean, you can argue she was using the light as a reference to see where she was going and stuff. Okay. But yeah, I understand. But again, she's trying to make a documentary.
The grandmother wasn't really like trying to, I'm not quite sure what the grandmother was doing at that point.
What she was really trying to do. Yeah.
She was just kind of like,
she's just crazy.
I'll bring this back up to you, though. You said you thought it was supernatural. I
thought it might be.
Okay, look. When she tells that story about the aliens and crawling into the mouth, I'm like, I really hope this isn't it. But when it's all bullshit, that made it even scarier. Because it's like, how could you think of something like that? And especially the fact that they allude it back to the fucking what's it called? The well. They actually go and they look in the water. They're like, there's nothing here. The fact that there was nothing there, and that's my initial thing going into it as well as. Because of Shyamalan, I thought it would be something supernatural and something creative. The fact that it was just plain fact, just that they were crazy people.
More creative.
It's great. Really brilliant. And it's so simple, too. Very, very simple.
And I was pleasantly surprised when that revelation came. I was like, oh, they're just fucking nuts. Okay, cool. I'm down. Yeah. I was like, it doesn't, because I was worried that whatever the supernatural thing was going to be, I was almost convinced it was going to ruin the movie.
No, really?
Yeah. I was like, whatever supernatural element he's going to add is probably going to ruin this movie.
Yeah.
But the fact they were just crazy people, I was like, all right.
Good. Very good. I'm going to read off some of the comments on Facebook here. Quentin Kelly, he says, and this is a great point that we can talk about. I thought it was awesome. The comedy was a point, creepy vibes, and not complete dog feces like After Earth in The Last Airbender. Glad to see him come back in his indie roots. He's back for now. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Awesome work. Best podcast on the interwebs. Well, thank you, my friend. But JTE movie thinks it's pretty great as well. But
it's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll agree with that as well because I thought this movie was equally funny as it was scary, and I think it's deserved it. I think well deserved.
It's very entertaining, and that's something I never got from. I mean, as far as like that kind of comedy.
Yeah, I was thinking
you never really got that from Sixth Sense or Unbreakable. Really, any of his other movies. I guess Last Airbender in a different way.
Yeah, that was just like happening in a different way.
It was cool to see that different sensibility from him. So I didn't expect it, and I was like, oh, even if I'm not scared or I'm not loving the story, I'm entertained.
Still entertained and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say about Shyamalan's comedy. His comedy has always been kind of hokey. Because there's
what
like
comedy?
okay, well,
I'm
like
asking.
I say that I think I've said this before on a previous podcast. Like, if you watch some scenes in obviously Sixth Sense, there's like no comedy whatsoever. There is like subtle stuff, but
There's
it's
a
like
couple
cute.
things.
It's like cute comedy.
Yeah, it's just a comedy.
In Signs, there's some funny moments in it too.
Like with the tinfoil hats.
Tinfoil
Like,
hats,
yeah.
like it's quirky almost.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
And then where they start swearing in Signs when they're running around the house. They're like, I'm gonna beat your ass, kind of stuff like that. Like I curse, yeah, I heard, kind of like stuff like that. It's just I don't know. It's always been kind of funky to me, his comedy.
One of the greatest comedy bits he's ever done is in The Happening when the guy's talking about the hot dogs. He's like,
No, I
you
love
like hot dogs, right? They're gonna have protein.
I love the military guy. He's like cheese and crackers.
I mean, I hate to say this, every time I think of The Happening, I think of this one thing from like Scary Movie 3
No.
is where he goes, Charlie Sheen goes, the dogs are acting weird. And then it cuts to the dogs like riding like chariots.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
they're like all dressed up as Romans. That joke killed me.
Right.
And that's all. For some reason, that's all. I have nothing good to say about Signs. I'm sorry. I really didn't like that movie.
Wow, I can't believe that. I love science. Another comment from Facebook says, Casey Kelderman. Although I predicted the infamous M. Night twist about 5 minutes in, good for you, Casey, I, for one, actually enjoyed this movie a lot. It wasn't what you would call edge-of-your-seat scary, like Insidious or Conjuring, but it was what I would call a great, creepy horror movie. The game of tag under the deck was terrifying, and the grandma crawling at night also sent shivers down my arms. The only real complaints I have with this movie would be M. Night's strange comedy, which, okay.
We just talked about it.
I thought the young boy's comments were great, but his rapping was just cringeworthy. Also, the diaper jokes. Really? Diaper jokes. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie and hope this starts a resurgence in M. Night's career. 3.25 out of 5.
I thought the diaper stuff worked out pretty well, especially for what happens at the end.
Oh, yeah,
to
the end
kid.
bit when he shoves it in his face.
You know what I was thinking too?
Especially-
I was totally thinking because they set him up to be a germaphobe.
Yeah.
I thought that was like an incentive for him to go out into the house because there was that scene where he accidentally touches the toilet seat and he's like, "There's something on my hand," and they didn't have any toilet paper or anything to wipe it off. I totally thought that was a scene, like a motivation for them to go into the house and just like an extra creepy scene to happen, but it never happened.
Yeah, one thing M. Night really tries to do is he really tries to set something up early in a movie, and sometimes you feel like he just has to pay it off in the third act, almost to the point where it feels a little forced. Like
Maybe a little clustered too.
Let's get to the end scene. Like the scene, he tells this great story about how the dad watched him the game and he froze, and then there's a moment
I love that.
where he goes into
I love that.
I thought it was.
I thought that tied
I like
that
that
back
up.
so
I love
well.
that. He finally
Yes.
came over his freezing
It was
fear
an
and
arc for
fucking
his
took
character.
control of his life. I love that.
It is an arc, and I think that it almost hit too hard.
Okay.
Like,
I see what you mean.
and same thing with the girl. The whole movie, she doesn't like to look in mirrors. She never wants to see a picture of herself.
And then the first time she does it,
it's in a mirror. And how does she kill the lady? With a piece of broken mirror.
okay, maybe a little bit too much exposition, but I thought it was a fair enough. I never really felt like it was forced, but
To me-
because it was spread out really well.
her-
It was if
with-
it was like all in the last
Yeah.
act, I would say then
That
maybe,
was all
but-
in the last act. That was all in the final moments.
Oh, I didn't feel like it.
Well, for me, the mirror thing, I guess that one I was okay with. It was the kid going to his chant and then just starts ramming this old man. And I was like, this crazy. I don't know how that stopped him.
He's taking out years of pent up
Yeah.
frustration. It makes
Yeah.
sense, kind of.
He's an 8-year-old,
Physically,
though.
it's-
He's like a 10-year-old.
Let me finish. Physically, yes, it doesn't make
Yeah.
much sense, but from a story standpoint, I get where he was trying to go with
That old man.
For what you know,
Yeah.
for all we know, he probably didn't even kill the grandpa. He just fucking bashed
Well,
his head.
that's all he did. I don't think he killed him. I think he just rammed him a couple times.
Yeah.
But that guy has old man strength. He should be able to pick them up like Undertaker and just
Old
fucking-
man strength?
Yeah, you do not
Old
know what
man.
old man strength is?
He's got problems with his diaper, dude. I don't know how much strength he's really
He
got.
like lifts him up. Shit.
Yeah.
This
he,
one,
he already shit at that point.
oh, got it. I will say though, the shit to the face was fucking just.
Oh yeah, the way they
Yeah.
cut away right when that was
Right when it
great
hit.
edit.
And the way the camera was just below the kid's.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't see it.
Yeah, it really
For
well
the
done.
longest time, I thought the kid was like hanging. I thought that he actually killed the kid.
That's so weird. I never picked that up.
What's that?
That kid was hanging?
Oh, I think of weird shit all the time.
Yeah.
Just like how I got a boner for the grandma. I don't know. I'm just whatever.
I have a potential. I brought this up with you before, and I brought this up with other people, and they kind of like, oh no, that's not what it is. But I was very confused. There's a scene where the kid is interviewing the girl on the trail or whatever.
okay. Yeah,
Remember
I'm
when
glad
the
you brought
camera started zooming?
No.
Okay, well the girl's interviewing herself, I guess, talking
Yeah.
about her dad, and the camera slowly starts to zoom in on her face, and she's like,
But-
"Are you doing that?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, well, what the hell was that?
No,
Was he just
doing
lying
it.
to her?"
Yeah, he was just messing
Okay,
with her.
I just want to know.
Well, what's funny was that it was she wasn't
During that
like-
whole time, I
no,
thought it was something
no, listen,
supernatural.
that's true. I can
I
see
was
what
like,
you're
"What the fuck is going on?"
I will say about that scene though, because it wasn't really zooming in on her face. It was almost like going off to the
Yeah, it was
corner
going up.
a little bit.
I kept expecting to see something in the back.
That's what I was thinking too. I thought like something was back there the whole time,
really?
and I was expecting. It's one of those moments, when you expect a jump scare and nothing happens at all. That's
I
kinda
just
what
thought
happened.
he was zooming in and he didn't know how to work cameras well.
Okay.
I
This
see what you're
comment comes from Jennifer Van Driel. Love the visit. I was afraid the twist was going to be something paranormal, like we've said before, with how the grandparents warn don't come out after 9:30, but was pleased with the real twist. Lots of small things came together when it was revealed that the grandparents were escaped mental patients, i.e. the grandma staring into the wall and walking and talking about water, her drowning with her real children. It's probably something that actually happened. I couldn't have done without the boy rapping at the very end, but that kind of took away from the sentiment of Becca forgiving her dad. Thank you for the comment, Jennifer. I love that amount of emotion because I really wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, let's talk about that ending with her forgiving me. That scene, I don't know what it was.
That
That scene got to me.
Let me
It
tell
felt
you.
like it should have been in a completely different movie,
Yeah.
but I don't care. It was a damn good
When
scene.
you can make me care that much about the characters,
Mm-hmm.
I think that movie was flirting with a 3.2, and I went 3.5 because that
Just
last
because that
scene.
last scene is
That last scene
incredible. Really
I was
great.
like, damn.
She's like, don't be angry, and I was like, oh my god.
and she started crying. I was like, damn.
And
they hit-
especially the way they tied it up and they actually showed because
Yeah.
she was talking about I don't want to show footage of my father or
Yeah.
anything. I don't want to show any of it, and then they bring that back
great.
in. Yeah.
They always say if you can finish a movie really strong, it helps
He's
the
good at
whole
that.
movie.
Yep.
And that last scene with
That was the best. Like,
was so good.
I haven't felt an emotion like that from one of his movies since Sixth Sense, probably. Like the end of that, the very ending of Sixth Sense.
But yes, agreed.
I'm not talking about the twist. I'm saying the
No,
very ending where he
this-
says bye to his wife at the end of Sixth Sense.
Oh, for me, it's the scene where he's telling his mother about how the grandmother. In Sixth Sense, they're stuck in traffic.
Oh yeah, that's
yes.
him too. That one's even better.
That
Yeah,
is
you're
Like,
right.
talk to her,
Yeah.
that's why
That
you're
is
crying
the
again.
Haley Joel Osment Oscar scene.
Yeah,
That's where he
still-
got nominated for.
That
was
one
for that
makes
scene.
me cry, dude.
And this was a throw. This felt like it was close to being that
Close
good.
to it. No, I totally agree. I was literally about
I
to
need to watch Sixth Sense again. That movie's
It's
so
good. I
just
watched it
saw
like a couple
recently.
weeks
I
ago.
watched it recently before the movie. It's
Such a good movie.
Fucking so good. Especially just for one of those movies you go back and you watch it again. You point out all the little things that are
Yeah.
about it that make it really great. I will say that the movie overall is very, very enjoyable. I had another point on my mind because someone said something. Well, go ahead. You got something?
No, I was going to do a Facebook comment
Yeah,
while
sure,
you're
go ahead.
trying to find your point. Brian Fernandez, a good fan of the show, says, I don't think this movie was a huge return for M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, but if
Agreed.
he were to do 2 or 3 more small-budget movies like these, then I will say he's back. As far as this movie goes, it was all right. Had a good premise and good characters, but the scares didn't really hit for me, in my opinion. Fair
Okay,
enough, Brian.
I forgot what I was going to bring up, but let's talk about that real quick. About M. Night.
I agree because listen, Sixth Sense is the best movie he's ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Unbreakable. I liked Unbreakable. I don't think it's as good as Sixth Sense.
I think it's
but it's a
pretty
good
good, yeah.
follow-up.
Good
It's a
follow-up,
really good
yes.
follow-up. The problem with Unbreakable is the very last few seconds of that movie, where it just cuts to black and all you get is black text.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That part really kind of
I thought
bothered
you meant like the
no,
reveal.
I love the reveal.
Okay.
Reveal was I love that reveal. It's just like, it felt like they didn't know how to end a movie and they just went to whatever.
Yeah, very
Village, Sixth Sense. Not Sixth Sense. The Signs I really didn't like.
So
Didn't like The Village. Lay in the Water.
later,
So like for me, he started off with 2 great movies, and
but I think the general consensus, most people like Signs as well. I think there's a good majority that like Signs.
maybe in your circles.
I'd say
No,
a solid 60% of people
I think
enjoy it.
I think it's a 50-50.
Okay, yeah, I'll say that. I'll agree.
I'll
with that.
give it that.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah,
Still better than Rocky 5.
it might be. No, I don't know. That's
Oh,
not-
don't you
I got
dare!
him. I got him.
All right.
He's on the ropes. He's on the ropes. Okay.
Yeah,
no, but
it's a better
let's
movie.
talk about this though. Obviously, it seems like M. Night. With this film, obviously, he took it back.
He took a
it back
step
to
in
his
the
roots.
right direction.
He did take a step in the
He
right
made
direction.
a good movie for once.
He did. So even though this movie's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes for some weird reason, so his next film, I don't know the premise on it, but apparently he's teaming up with Joaquin Phoenix again.
Okay.
So which I'm very
That's good.
excited. I'm pretty sure it's another low budget. I'm not 100%, but I would like to see him do a lot more lower budget stuff. But
Yeah.
let's say this. Let's live in fantasy land for a second or something. Fantasy horror land.
I
okay?
feel like he could easily make an art bomb.
That's what I'm saying. He
that's
might
what-
get cocky, and I'm kind of
That's why I'm bringing
scared.
this point up.
Yeah.
Say he does a couple smaller ones, and then let's say one of the indie ones fucking hits.
Okay.
Like Sixth Sense, even better. Sixth Sense 2, I sense that coming. That's what it's called.
That's the porn spin-off.
It's not
right
the
there.
And then
Seventh
imagine
Sense?
he gets a budget for a big movie again.
Yeah.
You think he can actually pull it off?
Depends on what the movie is.
I don't want him to do a big budget movie.
Think about Unbreakable.
His
and
best
Sixth
ones
Sense
are
were
the
not-
smallest
No.
ones.
Yeah, those are
The
small
smallest budget.
films.
Yeah. I would, because I
think
want to see him.
he-
I want to see him do good.
But I
do
think
good here.
for him to do good, it can't be a big budget.
That's
I mean,
true.
After
But that's
Earth
such a
and
weird
Last
thing to
Airbender
think
is so
about. Like,
bad.
can you? I mean, I'm sure nowadays it's like, can you really look at directors that have done smaller stuff and bigger stuff? And it's like, oh, maybe they should stay at smaller stuff. I mean, like, I guess you can say like Mark Webb, but he doesn't have too many things. Like, you look at Mark Webb, he did a small thing like
Yeah.
what's
500
it
Days
called?
of Summer.
500 Days of Summer,
Yeah,
and then he
great
did
movie.
Spider-Man. It's like, oh, but then you obviously think of like studio-wise, so maybe he can do something else. But it's like, it's a weird thing to think about a director not able to handle a big budget movie as opposed to something smaller. You know?
There's so many more hands in a bigger film. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more of a community film.
But
whereas,
do you really think that studios had anything to do with Shyamalan's movies?
No, I think at that point he had such a good reputation that they kind of let
So
him go,
essentially-
which
Yeah.
there should have been more hands try to contain him.
probably.
Yeah.
So essentially, like if Nolan went evil.
Yeah. Nolan basically turned out making really crappy big budget movies after doing
Right.
like Memento or something like that.
sometimes people just can't make that transition from small film to big film,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I don't know. Like M. Night, I think he should stick with the smaller films because it's proven that he can't do big ones. But The Happening is not that big of a movie either.
No, that's
Shit.
true. Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, hopefully,
At
you
that
never know.
point, he was just shell shocked. I think is what it was.
Sometimes you can get too much creative control.
Yes.
And Sixth Sense, I'm sure he wasn't the only person, responsible for that movie. So
Yeah.
I think when we start seeing him get main control was around Village, Signs, Lady in the Water, especially in the water.
Lady in the Water.
So maybe he needs to have somebody there to hold his hand. a little bit.
Right. Well, overall, I think we all really enjoyed The Visit, some more than others, but
Yeah,
regardless,
I
it is a
enjoyed
good
it.
movie. Very entertaining. I can't wait for that movie to be on Blu-ray because that's gonna be on my shelf.
Oh, really?
That's
See?
gonna be on my shelf, girl.
That's gonna be on my shelf too, girl. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy it unless
That
it's
would
like
be straight
$5
tobacco.
on Black Friday. Huh.
I don't know if I'll buy that on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I
Really, even if it's like
it's
cheap.
not just because it's a movie. I have trouble with found footage movies. There's very few that I like to watch more than a few times.
Really? Okay.
I think the next
What's
Rocky movie is gonna
what's
be in
like a
found footage.
great found
I
footage?
love
movie, guys?
Cloverfield. You don't like Blair Witch?
Didn't love
Blair Witch
Cloverfield.
Project.
Yeah, Blair Witches,
The
but that's the
first,
thing that started
Paranormal?
it, man. That's like almost,
But it's still a great movie.
but it almost does it better than all the other found footage movies. There's a reason why.
So you wouldn't have that on Blu-ray?
I probably would.
Probably wouldn't look good on Bluray, but
Yeah, I
That's
probably
true.
wouldn't
If
look
it's
good on
found footage,
Blu-ray.
it probably wouldn't look great.
Cloverfield
on
looks
Blu-ray.
really great. But you're not a
I
big fan
was
of that
not
movie.
a big fan of
Chronicle
Cloverfield.
probably.
Chronicle's pretty good, but it almost doesn't feel like a found footage because of that. Literally, that power does give it.
True.
Once the
Movie
cameras
magic.
are flying around as you're like flying around and shit.
Right.
So, Chronicle's probably one of the best ones to do it.
I think
I
so.
would say
Yeah.
so.
Creative wise.
Oh, you know what I love? Like District 9 starts off like a found footage, and then it just
You know what's funny?
makes that awesome transition to just a straight up regular
People
movie.
always say that's found footage in the beginning. It's not.
not.
It's,
Oh,
they
it's
just
documentary
use,
style.
It's documentary
Yeah.
style, but it's not actually like found footage though.
But
it's
there
not
are
found
times where they
footage.
go to security cameras, and it's not people holding the
but-
camera.
Yeah, it's a fucking great
But
movie.
it's why I love it is they transition to it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So I'm gonna do something that we
Wait,
haven't.
so the Visit was a documentary movie too?
You
I
shut-
guess technically,
Shut your
technically,
lips.
if you go with the story, The Visit is just a documentary.
Yeah.
if the
That's true.
documentary that they
Yeah.
meant to make was cut exactly like that,
It could-
yes.
Maybe that's what we saw in the Visit.
I did
was the-
hear. I did hear that there are two versions of this movie too.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
there's
true.
one like comedy and the one that's more scary. The one that we saw was the scary one.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the comedy one.
I think
Yeah.
this one was the mix of the two. I
Maybe.
don't think it was just one or the other.
One of the two. Well, that'd be great if like they like on the Blu-ray special features they actually made a documentary out of the stuff that they shot just without the whole we're shooting a documentary
I'll
kind of
say
thing.
maybe what we saw in a theater, the Visit, was her cut of.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
whole
It
movie.
is
yeah,
the
it could-
documentary.
yeah,
Is what I was
yeah.
saying.
Essentially, yeah, it could have been that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. But what I was bringing up earlier is that we haven't done a Netflix recommendation in a long time, and I watched something recently that I was like, wow, okay, it's not the scariest thing on the planet, but it's actually really good. I have a feeling you've seen it because you're a fan of this director.
Okay.
Directed by Ty West, and it is The House of the Devil.
House of the Devil, yeah.
Pretty fucking great
I-
throwback to
I
1970s
hit
horror.
you on a tweet not that long ago to watch The Innkeepers.
Yeah, that one's seriously been in my queue
Yeah.
for the longest time. And I watched the Sacrament that Ty West did, and I wasn't too huge on that only because I've seen the documentary on Jim
Okay.
Jones, and it's essentially the same thing, but it was still pretty creepy. But I really like the House of the Devil.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the style of it was really, really great and refreshing because first of all, it's filmed with equipment like straight from 1970s.
Oh, yeah.
So you get that feel.
Definitely.
The style of the clothing and the wardrobe, it's all 1970s.
Yep.
Those slow push and the zooms and just focused and steady shots on particular things. It's not the greatest storytelling of a horror film, really. But it's very basic and it's there's creepy moments towards the end.
I
but
think
really enjoyable.
I love the style of that film.
Yes.
But I gotta say, I think Innkeepers is a scary movie.
I've been meaning to get into that too.
There's a scene in Innkeepers. I don't want to tell you what it is, but it scared the shit out of me.
Okay. All right. I have to check it out.
The shit out of me. It's a very slow burn, much like House of the Devil. Very
House
slow
of the Devil,
burn.
Super, super slow burn.
But I loved it. I love Innkeepers. It's a slow burn, but it rewards your patience.
This is the part of the show where I remind everyone to freaking watch Lake Mungo already.
Yes.
Please talk about slow burn
Is it
horror
still on
movies.
Netflix?
So that about wraps it up
It's
here
tough
on,
to find it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Fuck you, man. That's a
I'm
good
just
movie.
kidding. I know. I need to watch it. I gotta watch it.
I'll give a recommendation. It's not scary, but
Is it
it's
on Netflix?
awesome. Yeah, Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah, it's a horror.
Have you guys seen it?
No, you
No,
know this.
I know this. So
This is the part where JTE schools us, makes us look like idiots.
no,
and then,
this is not like a scary movie, but it's such an awesome premise. It's Goonies with the Universal monsters.
Right.
It's basically these kids in the 80s who are like kind of like the Goonies version, and all the great monsters of the Universal days, like Dracula, Frankenstein, the werewolf, the
It is
thing from the
Frankenstein's
Black
monster,
Lagoon.
not Frankenstein.
Yes.
They all come onto this small city and start taking people out, and the kids are the only ones that, they're like, it's these creatures from like lore, and it's just such a fun movie, and it's a great 80s film. So I think everyone should check it out. It's not a horror film, but it's a love letter to the Universal horror films.
Okay, and we will do that.
Check
Listen
it
to
out.
JT.
It's so much fun.
Check out all those movies we recommended.
I'm trying to think if there's any like really good horror movies I watched on Netflix. lately.
They usually have a good hodgepodge of some pretty small ones. I guarantee by the time October comes around, they're going to throw in a couple more.
I'm going to throw on the movie I mentioned last time I was on this podcast, Kill List. I know you guys haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's on Netflix. I recommend if you guys want like some messed up horror / cult satanic movie.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Check
you
it
bringing
out.
this up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll check that out.
I just want to champion that movie as much as possible because I feel like it's kind of been forgotten by the mainstream.
Okay.
It was big for a while. It hit all the festivals and a lot of people were talking about it. And it's a foreign film. It's from England, so now
I gotta
everyone's
read
going to catch it.
subtitles?
No, it's not
Oh,
subtitles.
England, you said.
It's England.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's English.
They speak English, though?
Yeah.
Okay. But
There is some British accents that are like super thick. You can't
Oh, yeah.
understand
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Like in 71, you can barely understand what they're saying in that.
There are
that's a horror
times-
film, right?
That's not a horror film at
Okay,
all.
okay. But that pretty much wraps it up for this episode of HorrorFlix,
That's it?
guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
that was pretty quick, man. It goes by quick when you're having fun.
Hey.
You're having fun. Did you
Heyo.
have fun?
I had fun.
Shamalama ding dong.
Shamalama ding dong. It's like my shamalama ding dong. Thank
We
you guys
all
so much
sucked down our
for
Capri
thank you.
Suns here.
Capri Sun, Strawberry Kiwi.
Yeah.
JT
Great
is a
sponsor of the
great
show.
host for us. JT, tell the good people who are horror fans where to find you.
Yeah, catch me at
You can find me
Schmo.
at the Real Cody. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Go on. Sorry.
About to have a horror movie right here.
I'm sorry. Go
no,
on.
just joking.
Torture Get him.
At
Get in that ass.
Schmoes JTE. That's Josh the engineer.
You're probably
used to
gonna
be.
fucking have to change that
I'm back.
eventually.
I'm still an engineer at Screen Junkies. So I'm the
Okay.
I'm the main engineer there. So I'm
You
gonna
probably
keep
have to
it.
take out schmoes though.
No, because I'm still on the schmoes every week. People
Are
are,
you?
like, "Are you leaving?"
Are you?
I'm still gonna be there. Every
I
week,
thought you were
everybody.
leaving. You
I'm
told
just-
me literally right before the show
I'm
started.
gonna
you're
be
leaving.
McCoo-
Like I hate the schmoes.
I get to Makuga it, guys. I get to hang out and just chill and talk movies once in a while.
Oh, good for
the
you.
pressure,
you.
good,
Good
for
for you.
me.
I'm over there in the booth trying to kill myself. Okay.
So it's at Schmoes JTE, Twitter, Facebook. It's Josh, aka JTE. I basically just use it for a fan page, so go ahead and add me. I'll accept anything. Box office breakdown. We are Monday mornings, but I believe we're moving to Sunday nights.
Oh wow.
So you can get your box office numbers a little bit sooner. Schmoes, I'll still be on the Schmo Show. I do movie fights for Screen Junkies every week. I get shout out once in a while.
There you go.
Whenever they did it, we did a great fight with Mance and Roca, where they did a best Rocky fight, and I got to bring my opinion in there, so it was pretty nice.
There you go.
And yeah, that's it, guys. JT Movie Things, of course, which I'm gonna have you guys back on finally
that.
because
Yeah,
it's
I
been a
like
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me at the Real Cody Hall on Twitter. You can find me now engineering the show at Schmoes. Look for future B Team shorts. We got one on the way, and we're developing some others.
Yes. And you will also find Cody dead in about 3 weeks.
Yep.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Cobbster15. Be sure to like us on Facebook. We're facebook.com/HorrorFlix. Get us up to 1,000. If we get to 1,000 by October 31st, Cody might do the show naked. So, ladies, listen up. And actually,
all two of the ladies who listen to the show.
Yes. Yeah. And then also be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Get us up there on those feeds, those charts. That'd be really great and really beautiful if you could do that. If you're listening on the Schmoes Know podcast channel, be sure to throw this video a like, comment down below. Anything you liked, you didn't like, we will take that to ease. You got a point?
I just want to say, just to end the show real quick, I cannot wait to see Krampus. We saw a trailer again today.
Yeah. Yes.
I know you guys been hyping it up on the show.
If Star Wars was not coming out this year, this is number one.
I just want to add to that hype. For some reason, you add Christmas and horror together.
It's fucking great.
It's something special about it. Look, I don't know what it is.
We can get off on a little tangent here. We did our plugs real quick. I don't like Christmas. I don't like Christmas.
Jesus.
It's all jolly, golly. I get it. There's singing, there's dancing.
Cops are just a big old bundle of joy.
I don't care for it.
Listen.
Christmas Vacation is like the ultimate definitive thing of what Christmas should be. It's just chaos and anarchy. I don't like it.
If you don't want to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, I understand.
That's why I'm really excited for Krampus, because it's the complete opposite. It's the death of Jesus Christ.
He's got like a birthday cake.
I don't like Christmas because of the whole Phoebe Cates story, okay?
I like Christmas, man. I love I just love that. It's different in LA because to me, Christmas is snowflakes, snowmen, just
maybe that's why I don't like it, because we don't get freaking snow on here.
Hot chocolate is Christmas.
Anyways, we're the team of HorrorFlix. We're the B team. Whatever. Christmas sucks. Good night. God bless.
Yahtzee.